everyone, and welcome back to Phantom Sports Industries. My name is Soisson. I'm a contributor for Phantom's hockey content. Today, we're going to wrap up the Eastern Conference. We're looking at the Metropolitan Division, and once again, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way to the top of the division. So these are my preseason predictions, what I think the Metro Division will look like by the end of the NHL regular season. Starting off at number 8, I'll put the Columbus Blue Jackets. First off, before we begin, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Gaudreau family. Johnny and Matthew had a massive impact on the hockey community, and they will be dearly missed. So from everyone at Phantom Sports Industries, our thoughts and prayers go out to those affected by this tragedy. For Columbus this upcoming season, I still like their starting lineup. They added Sean Monahan. He'll likely be their starting center. They've got some talented wingers like Chinnikov, Marchenko, Jenner, all valid starting options. They've even got players down the pipeline to be excited about, like Gavin Brindley. They also added a new head coach to their staff, Dean Evison, who's had a lot of good runs with the Minnesota Wild. But it's a long road back to the postseason for this squad. They finished last year bottom third in goals per game, goals against average, total shots against. Man up, man down could both use some work as well. And while a new head coach is nice, this is the fourth head coach since John Tortorella left in 2021. This is starting to feel like too many cooks in the kitchen, too many heads leading in different directions here, which is why I've got Columbus at number 8. Number 7, I dropped the Washington Capitals here. So they upgraded their fourth line. They signed Brandon Duheim from Colorado, Taylor Radish from Chicago, and a handful of AHLers as well. I liked the re-signing of Connor McMichael, and I really liked the move to pick up Matt Roy, the defenseman from Los Angeles. Washington's strength last year was their defense, and now they're stronger at that position with Roy in the lineup. But this team struggled on offense. They finished 28th in goals per game last season. They had a goal differential of -37. I don't think upgrading the fourth line is going to fix the offensive problem. At goalie, they basically go even. They cut Darcy Kemper, but they add Logan Thompson. They're not far off in career numbers, but Thompson's numbers have been stronger recently. Overall, I just don't think they'll be able to get away with winning close and losing big like they did a lot last season. On to number 6, where I've got the Philadelphia Flyers. Not many changes here. They pick up Ryan Johansson from Colorado. They pick up Anthony Richard from Boston, spent most of last year in the AHL. But the story of Philly's offseason has been the re-signings. Bobby Brink, Igor Zamula, two players that finished the year on a positive note, returning this year. Eric Johnson, the veteran defenseman, re-signed as well. So there's some real solid chemistry building up in Philly. But it needs to come online soon because this offense struggled last year. 27th in goals per game, dead last in power play percentage last year. The good news is that their defense is better than you'd expect. They finished tied for 18th in goals against average, but their penalty kill unit was one of the best. 4th best penalty kill percentage and the most shorthanded goals in the league. The bad news, this goalie room is a bit of a question mark. Samuel Ersson looks good, but he's got a save percentage under 90. And Ivan Fedotov has only played in 3 games. I'm just not sure what you're going to get. And if these numbers are consistent throughout the season, this defense that was so strong will end up suffering in the long run. Number 5, I put the New York Islanders. Most of their offseason was re-signings as well. Mike Riley, Oliver Wahlstrom. I actually like the re-signing of Simon Holmstrom a lot. Year 1 to year 2, he had a massive 15-point improvement, and his plus-minus jumped up by 6. The other offseason move I really liked was the signing of Anthony Duclair. He had 27 points in San Jose last season, but look at what he did after the trade. 15 points in 17 games with Tampa Bay. And he's a smart player. Anytime he's finished a season with a negative plus-minus, it's been in single digits. And on his career, he's plus 39. He'll be great for this offense that finished 22nd in goals per game last year. But one of the question marks this season is the new head coach. Patrick Waugh takes over officially. He went 20-12-5 last year, then lost the opening playoff series 4-1. Waugh was excellent with the Quebec Ramparts, and he won with Colorado, but he doesn't have the benefit of having a superstar like Nathan MacKinnon on this New York Islanders roster. Also, the Islanders got a lot of points last year from getting to overtime. 16 overtime losses was tied for the most in the league. I'm not sure you can consistently get to overtime and get those points like the Islanders were able to do last year. Next is number 4, the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think people are underestimating this team. They had a really solid offseason. 2 big defensive upgrades. They signed Matt Grzelcyk from Boston. They signed Sebastian Aho from the Islanders. In-division rival, always a nice steal. They also recently traded for Cody Glass, giving them more depth at forward. And let's not forget the trade for Rutger McGroarty, one of the best skaters in college hockey today. He looks ready for the NHL. They will have to find a way to replace Getzel's points, but they already started working on that last year. The other major concern for Pittsburgh, their age. They're one of the oldest teams in the league, which means injuries could play a massive factor for them. But you can't depend on injuries. And at the end of the day, you've got an improved defense with consistent goaltending combined with Sidney Crosby, who's put up over 90 points in the past 2 seasons. You've got a recipe for success here in Pittsburgh. But it's time for the top 3. And at number 3, I've got Carolina. This lineup is going to look very different from previous years. They signed 7 new skaters, and they're going to need all of them because they lost a lot of playmakers. Stefan Nason, Brett Pesce, Brady Shea, Teuvo Teravainen, all gone this offseason. But the guys they brought in all have experience and can fill the roles of the players they lost. Sean Walker had 29 points in 81 games this year. Shane Gostisbehere has been playing since 2014, and last year was one of his best seasons. At forward, they got Carrier, Roslovic, Robinson, and Jost. All they need is for one of them to step up. And this is a very well-coached team. They've been a top team in the Metro for years now. But when the expectations are high and Carolina hasn't reached them, it's time to make some changes, and that's what they did this offseason. And one last factor that's going to help them stay in postseason contention, they had major injuries at goaltender last year. But now, Anderson will be ready for the start of the season, and Kochetkov and Martin have now had a season's worth of experience under their belt. But at number 2, every year there's a team that pops. This year, I think it's the New Jersey Devils. First off, new head coach for the Devils. Sheldon Keefe comes over from Toronto, and he has put together some magic seasons for the Maple Leafs. After the bubble year, when they lost in the qualifying round, they finished first in the division, had home ice advantage 3 times in the playoffs, and broke Toronto's playoff curse against 3-time Eastern Conference champions Tampa Bay. So Sheldon Keefe knows what he's doing, to say the least. Secondly, they brought in a bunch of outside talent, so they've got great skating depth. They had Brett Pesce, Brendan Dillon, bolstering their defense. Stefan Nason is back. They signed Tomáš Tatar. Paul Cotter from Vegas joins their ranks. There's real scoring depth on these forward lines. And third, I like the goalie room switch up. These young goalies like Vitek Vanacek, Akira Schmid, Kaapo Kähkönen, they weren't working last year. So they've gone the opposite direction. Jake Allen, Jacob Markstrom, both 34 years old, both still with something to prove. I think the New Jersey Devils are set up to have a very good season. But I gotta give number one to the New York Rangers again. They're still arguably the most complete team in the league. Their top two forward lines, fantastic scoring. 5 forwards on this team have at least 50 points. They added Riley Smith from Pittsburgh, Sam Carrick from Edmonton, and a young project in Bo Groulx revamping the depth they lost. Defensively, they've got their jump-up defenseman. Adam Fox had 17 goals last year, tied for the 6th most at the position. They've got physical defensemen like Jacob Trouba, Braden Schneider, and Keandre Miller. And their goalie room is one of the most impressive. Shesterkin, Quick, Domingue. It's a mostly unchanged roster that last year was able to win the President's Trophy. And once again, this division feels a little wonky, a little top-heavy, and I think the Rangers stay on top. And that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like our content, be sure to scroll down below and click the like button on this video. While you're down there, be sure to also click that subscribe button to get notified of future uploads to this very channel. Also, be sure to check out our official website. That's phantomsportsindustries.com. Once again, my name's been Joe Soisson, and from the rest of Phantom Sports Industries, we hope to see more of you next time.